Okay, so this is my submission for green belt for the LPU. I will be picking the ACE 38mm brass padlock. As this is an unguttable lock, I will be using the ACE A527 for my gutting submission. Go ahead and set this one aside for right now. Functions check with the current candidate. Everything's in good working order. We'll be using Covert Instruments tools for this one. This is the 40 thousandths of an inch Z-bar. Be using bottom of keyway tension with the top of the keyway end. Picked that one up from Bosnian Bill. And for these smaller locks, it seems to work fairly well for giving your pick a little bit more room to work inside the keyway. And as for the pick, I'll be using the Covert Instruments Gentle Reach from the Echelon set in 25 thousandths. So, sometimes this thing wants to fall right into a nice little fault set. And sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. Reset. Yeah, the ACE 35mm is definitely a nasty little piece of work sometimes. Fault set on one. On two. Okay. Fault set on three. They've got spools at least on 1 and 3. Probably on 2 as well. Back to 1. Okay. That one out of the way. Fault set. See if there's anything on 5. Nothing there. Back to the front. And there we are. This one really thwarted me for the first several weeks I had it. This one definitely punches above its weight, but once you master it, I find it's really an enjoyable little pick. Still works. All right, set that one aside. Then we're going to get into this guy. This one has definitely been my nemesis for a while now. I've been progressively pinning it just to get a feel for it. Right now I'm up to working with 2 pins. Number 1's a serrated, number 2's a serrated spool. And I've been having good luck with that. So after I disassemble this for my green belt submission, I will definitely be continuing along with progressive pinning and hopefully getting a really good opening of this on video for Reddit and Discord, because this one's really kind of been a milestone lock with me. It's really been giving me a problem, so I think conquering this will, oh, it'll definitely feel like a feather in my cap. I know there's much more advanced pickers out there than me, but we all got to start somewhere, right? It's kind of funny because my initial foray into lock picking really began probably about 2000. I picked up my first set of lock picks, an old Southward set, at a gun show. And at the time I was in the Army, and lockpicking just seemed like a fun kind of James Bondy thing to add to my skill set. Okay, let's get this screw out of here. Phillips head screw down in the shackle hole. Please forgive my MacGyvered together lock lab here. But right now, it's about all I have got. Set that lock up there. So we have the anti-bypass shield. Drill plate, bolt sleeve, bolt, and of course the core. Now let's get that clip off. I don't have a wrench for these just yet, so I'm gonna have to kind of brute force it off here with a screwdriver, but that's all right. Get off of there. Not quite. Oh, slip back on. That's all right. Boy, this one just wants to. This one just wants to stay on tonight, doesn't it? Oh, come off there. Got crooked, didn't you? That's all right. I'll get you off there. There we go. Should be able to get a grip now. There we are. And there's that pesky little C-clip. And of course, that's when the cat decides he wants to make himself known. So, where's my follower? There we are. Like I said, kind of a MacGyver together lock lab. AAA battery from my camera bag. So, see if we can get this apart without a mishap. I think that looks pretty clean. All right, set that right there. And as we can see, this is the usual core for a lock like this. These things share a core with the American 1100 series, so as usual you have a core that's drilled for 6 pins, but only 5 of them are occupied right now. So, pull the key out. And let's dump these. 1, 2. On 3. 3 is a real tiny one. 4. 4 is not much bigger. And 5. There we are. Get these, turn the right way around. All right. So there are our key pins. Now let's take a look at those drivers. All right. Don't want these to pop out at me here. And we have serrated on 1, serrated spool on 2, oops, that would be serrated on 3. Wanted to make itself known. Back in their spring. Serrated spool on 4. And lastly, serrated on 5. Let's get these in a little closer focus. As I said, fairly standard loadout for a lock of this type. As I said, it shares a core with the American 1100 series. And let's take a look at the springs, just for good measure. Let's see. I know there's usually one hiding in that number 1 slot there. Yep, there it is. Hiding down in there. That one might not want to come out. As you can see, that one spring seems to be hiding down in the number 1 hole there. So I think we're just going to leave that one in place. But otherwise, full loadout of pins and springs. Now let's get this thing back together. Start with the springs. 2. Oops. Where'd you go? There you are. and 5. All right. Let's start from the back here. And since I don't have a whole lot of actual light to see by here, I'm going to turn on my headlight just to give me a little bit of extra light here. I know it's going to look funky on camera. Kind of doing this in the basement right now, so don't exactly have the best light down here just yet. So 3's in. 4 is in. Oops. Get ahead of yourself there. And 5 is in. Turn it around and get 2 and 1 in. There we are. So, get that nasty little spool in. Whoa! Where'd that go? Now, of course, that's going to happen when I'm recording. There it is. Ha! I guess if there's one advantage of wearing a headlight, that spool showed up really bright on the floor. Alright, let's get that pesky little thing in there. And that last serrated pin, let's get that back in the number 1 slot. All right. So let's get the key pins back in here. Got number 1. Come on, you. Number 1. Boy, you just want to be a booger today, don't you? Come on, you. Behave. There we go. Number 2 pins in. Number 3, this one's really tiny. This one's actually just a standard pin. I think it's too short for serrations to even be a factor in its design. Does that even look like it's in there right? You know what? I'm going to dump that number 3 pin just in case, because that almost looked like it was upside down. It's hard to tell with a pin that's this short. Huh? That's the right way. There we are. Yep. That's about as right as that's getting. Number 4. Short, but just long enough to be serrated. And number 5. There we are. All right, so let's get this back in again without mishap. Fingers crossed. And we're in. C-clip. Get that back on the back. Boom, in place. I think this little shield can be placed here as well. That thing usually ends up staying in the lock body, but not tonight. That's all right. Let's knock it out of frame. Okay, that's in. Drill plate in place. Bolt sleeve in place. Let's get this screw back in. Come on now. There we are. Let's make sure that gets in nice and tight. There we are. All right. Well, it locks up just fine. Functions check. Key works just fine. All right. Well, that is it for that. Green belt submission. Ace 38mm brass. And Ace A527 for the gut. Thank you much.